you are aware that the player is coming this way, and therefore before the pass is up here, I am already in position to accept that play, or I have already stepped up into position to accept that play. 1, 2, 3, 401 is the concept that you have an idea of what that player is going to do when they get the ball here before they actually get the ball here. So we're not even thinking about the idea of them moving over here. We're thinking about what type of person is catching the ball over here. What is the offense trying to do? What's the intent behind it? So Kyle maybe knows that if I've got a right-handed shooter who's going to catch the ball right here, maybe my alternative is maybe I can't make it down, maybe I have to go up in this case. Or if it's a left-handed shooter, I know to go high, because if I go dive down, because I'm thinking dive down, always dive down. A left-handed shooter here takes me out of position to see a flick on the arm. Or I know that the person coming to get this is a 20-point per game scorer that likes to catch and drive. So maybe if I dive down in this play and I catch and drive, I've now put myself in a case where I can't see, thank you, that I can't see the drive to the basket, or I leave open the possibility of too many people being in my way. So maybe if I know that dribble drive guy is catching the ball, I go high so I can be in a position to see that play. Any questions in this case just for center? Let's talk about some other scenarios. We know the situation, 99 out of 100 times the lead initiates the rotation. What's the one time we say they don't? The trap plays up top, okay? You go 101 to 401 with the trap play, you get up to the idea that which player is going to catch the ball up top. Is it a big man who is sitting near the center line? Is it their best guard? And what are they going to do after that? And if there's a trap of 2 defensive players there, what does the defense then do? Well, usually somebody else has to compensate for the next easiest pass. So somebody may be coming right over to here. So if my slot goes up to initiate and cover that play, my lead has to come over, and maybe the lead's responsibility isn't involved with coverage in our primary area. Maybe the lead now has to cover the 3-point shot that's going to happen right here, because the next logical pass is from there to here, not there to down in the paint. Make sense? Let's talk a little bit about curl plays. So let's slide up to trail a little bit here, and I'll kind of stay in this position so we can do both. Not curl plays, excuse me, high screen and roll plays. So Kyle, Matt, give me 2 of you here. This is one matchup. This is the screening matchup that's coming in. Brent, Kyle, will you come up? So I've got Kyle as my offensive player and Brent as my defensive player. High screen and roll plays, if at all possible, we like to have as dual coverage plays no matter where they are. It's not always possible, but it's a great thing if it is. So again, 101 to 401, what are the things that I'm paying attention to? Well, as the trail official for me, I need to be in a position to see this play. There's this mechanic book that says 101, you've got to be above the ball and all that stuff. Well, look conceptually. I'm of no use to the crew right here. In most of the places, Kyle will go with the ball. And if he wants to shoot from here, I'm of no use to the crew. So I'm already in a position where I'm into 201 thinking at this point. So now, offense is either looking to go drive, or if they're hanging out up here, I know someone's coming. So I've got to be open to accepting this play. So as Kyle goes to the left and Brent follows him, okay, stop there. This is now a dual coverage play for us. I've got 2 matchups at one time, which is very challenging. So I'm hoping that my lead or my center has a chance to assist on this play. It may be the center catching Kyle, my defensive player, or it may be Flick, if he's at lead, that has to come up and manage this play. But I've got to make sure I'm not focused on one person. I've got to know both things that are coming. So then the other part of the high screen and roll is, not only is the screener legal and is the defense legal here, but what's the next phase of the high screen and roll? Is the person setting the screen a shooter, Or are they a big man? If they're a big man, where are they going? That way. If they're a screen, or if they're a shooter, they're probably going right here. Or they're going to pop out there. So I've got to think about if Kyle goes left. Okay, stop. What's the next part? Kyle, the defensive player down there, is his job to step up and take the ball handler, or is it to allow him to get screened? I have to know the difference between the two, so what will happen at the next part of this play? If they switch, and now it's Kyle there, I have a new competitive matchup, and I have a new concern. I've got a guard on a big man, and I've got a big man on a guard. That means I got a tough matchup down here, and I've got a drive possibility right there. So you've got to be aware of those plays. Curl plays. Why don't we hit curl plays? Walk down this way, keep ourselves a little warmer. Curl plays can be a challenge for us. We think we're looking at something we're not supposed to look at, when in reality it is our primary. Rob, you're in a good spot to be an offensive player, and Matt, you're right behind him as a defensive player. As my lead official, as Flick would be right here, he's got a pretty good look at the play for now. If Rob decides to use his left hand and go towards the center of the paint, as he goes, my angles completely close off to me, and I feel like I'm supposed to be watching this play. In reality, I lose my ability to referee this play. Drew, on the other hand, is in the catbird seat over there with a great opportunity to assist on this play. If Rob, come back towards me, if Rob stops right here and tries to left-hand curl that way after he's pivoted, this is out of Drew's primary as your center official. But it's really Drew's play. He's got a much better look at this play than Flick does here at the lead. That's scary for us. This book tells us you've got to manage your area of responsibility, and anything else is going into someone else's kitchen. A good official knows what they can and can't see, and a good primary or secondary official knows what becomes their primary and at what point it becomes their primary. Those are a few examples of plays where active officiating helps you, and where moving to get angles will help you, and staying engaged and involved will help you. Any questions? All right, thank you guys. You're gonna go to Natasha at the next station.
It's already on.
It's already on, great. Okay, can I get a circle? Don't block the camera guy. All right, so we are talking about mechanics and reporting, okay? So with that being said, I'm gonna steal a lot of the stuff that's already been talked about. So Doug last night talked about your tools that you have, your whistle, your mechanics, your signals. That's your communication out on the floor, okay? We want projection, strength, and presence. When we report, we're telling a story. We wanna make sure that we do so and we do it well, okay? So before, projection. Make sure, one, you are in the best position to get the call right, all right? Or even provide information to your partners on their call. Mechanics. We want to make sure that we are in the proper court coverage. So once again, pregame, make sure you know who's covering what on your crew so that you can make the best call out on the court. Signals. Effective communication is what we want. Show strength. Maintain your strength. Project credibility. During your report, show that strength. We want our whistle to demand attention. So the call we have on the floor, we want that same call and that same strength to be projected as we walk to the table, okay? Voice. Use your voice. Be loud, crisp, precise in what we're saying. We may say orange, but we're not going to say yellow. We're going to be gold, red, blue, black, okay? Movement. Move with a purpose. You guys have heard this, but also in your reporting, have a cadence. Whether your cadence is the actual cadence and we report, or you have the jog, or you have the sprint, let that be strong. Let that continue to project strength. However you report, one hand or two, you're the gunslinger, you come here, you flash it, or you do this one. However you do it, have strength in what you do, okay? And last, afterwards, your presence. Finish your report at the table. Don't report and then just go. Make sure we have a pause. Because understand, in that moment, if you have a coach, they're probably going to want to talk to you, okay? As partners of the individual who's reporting, make sure that you watch the bench's reactions. You may have to address something because your partner is reporting. They may not see it. That's game management, okay? So we want projection, strength, and presence. What we are going to do is line y'all up. We're going to put you at center. I'm going to either give you an actual situation of a call, or I'll ask you what your favorite call is, and you are going to report that. Is everybody ready to shine? Yes. All right. Let's line up. Whoever wants to go first. All right. You have the wonderful joy, all of you, of being on two cameras. We have the cameraman, and then we're going to have either Kurt, Jason, or Justin. Yes. Thank you. All right. Favorite call? Push signal. Go ahead. It's all you. Favorite call?
I don't have a favorite call.
All right. I'm going to give you a blocking call.
Okay.
You pick your own color and number.
Got it.
Favorite call?
Let's go hit on a three-point shot.
Okay. Give it a second. You are going with Justin. What you got, girl? Oh, you want me to give you something? Okay. We are going to go a blocking foul and and one and a blocking foul. Hold on one second. I got to get a camera for you. Okay, I think you're going with Kurt. Yep, he's in the gray.
I like hits.
Like the hits?
I do like
Okay.
the hits.
I want you to do a hit and an and one. We're going to add a different level to it. Okay? Jason's your guy. One shot. Favorite call?
Give me something. What's your favorite call?
Illegal screen. You can use that team control. Wow. Wow. Hold on one second. I got to get you a video person. All right, I think he's ready. Justin. Favorite call? Any call you make's your favorite. That's good. Let's go with 2 hands.
Okay.
Just 2 hands. Yep.
Push. White.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Somebody in the other group said they had a 3-point shot
Okay.
and a foul on the 3.
That's as good.
Yes. Let's go with that.
That's as good.
I love it.
Foul on a 3.
You got Kurt right there for you.
Give me something.
Yeah, you guys don't have any favorite calls?
I mean, I do.
You do? Okay. All right. Let's go with a hold
Hold
on a shot.
on a shot.
On a shot. Oh. Wait. Sorry. Thought he was done. Okay. I think Jason's ready for you. Or I'm sorry, Justin's ready for you.
What's up?
Favorite call.
Favorite call?
Yes.
All right, I'll do it on the screen.
There we go.
Illegal.
All right, Rob, what you got?
I'll make it up.
Yes. Pick your favorite color, number, your favorite call.
Give me 22 inches.
Got a hand check. Yeah. Hold on a second. We're going to go to Justin. Yes. I think he's... Whoop. Not ready. Not ready. That was a great whistle, though. All right, go. Favorite call?
Hit 2 shots.
Hit 2 shots. He can go. There we go. Jason's got you. Go ahead.
Are you done making up stuff?
No, we can go with blocking and one. You're going to Kurt. All right, Matt. What do you want?
You pick.
Let's do offensive foul.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. I need somebody. Did you go? Jason. You're all you. Go ahead. Good?
All right. What we're going to talk about here is the pregame stuff, all right, but not so much pregame about what we're going to be talking about in the locker room. So I think that we'll talk about that a little bit later. What we're going to go over here is the pregame on the court, okay? So once we get out on the court, what are some things that we're looking for once we get out onto the court as a crew? Okay, so we're looking for players touching the rim. Better yet, what should we be doing if we see somebody getting close to the rim? Going over and talking to the teams, preventing things from happening that we can help. What else? What else are we looking for? Okay, so court markings. Maybe that there's volleyball lines that are close to the mid-court line. Being aware of that. You know, here we have 2 3-point lines. Which line are we going to be using? Making sure everybody's on the same page. Equipment. What are some equipment things that we're looking? Okay, jewelry. Colors of jerseys, colors of undershirts, headbands, wristbands, arm sleeves, braces, all right? You mentioned, depending on the level, insignias on socks, things like that, and making sure that logos are good. Yep. Okay, let's talk about that real quick. What are we doing to check the books? Kind of walk us through that process. Here.
Basically, you get on the floor, and we're trying to make sure when we go to check the table, we got to know how many players are on each team, so that way when it matches the book and we have discrepancies, we got to be able to figure out, okay, is this player not here, or what's the situation with the coach on that when we confront them.
Okay, so we're counting players on each side. All right, we're going to go check the book. We're making sure that on each team we have at least that many players in the book. Are we good if we're over that? So there's 12 players out here. We have 14 in the book. Are we good? What if there's 10 in the book? Now we have issues, right? All right, so most rules or most codes that we're going to go over about the 10-minute mark, and that needs to be done by the 10-minute mark. So what time are we heading over to the table to get all this taken care of? Yeah, 13 minutes. We're going to give ourselves enough time to go over there to talk to the assistant coach, a manager, a head coach, and get any kind of information that we need to get. Again, one of the worst things that we can do, and we talked about it before, is having to start the game with some sort of an administrative technical foul because of something that we could have prevented from happening before the game started. What else are we looking for? Okay, so player tendencies. Who's your jump shooters? All right, who are your post players? What else with players and tendencies? What else are we looking for? Okay, footwork. Explain that a little bit.
Big guys practicing their power moves, they might take an extra step, and you see that before the game starts.
Yes. So spin moves. What kind of moves do the post players have? Are they traveling? If that's the move that they're practicing during warm-ups, that's probably what they're going to do throughout the game.
Three-point shooters that jump with no dribble.
Okay.
Go into their shot.
Same kind of thing, making sure that three-point shooters are legal. All right, who's handling the ball? All right, who's going to be your point guards? What kind of moves do they have? Who's rebounding? Your rebounders probably aren't going to be the ones that are playing. The people that are shooting, they're going to be the ones that are on the court for the most part.
What else?
Okay, let's talk about captains a little bit. What are you doing in the captains meeting?
You're going to make sure you know their names, their number, if it's in high school games, speaking captain.
Okay.
I like to keep it short just because they don't tend to listen too long. Just tell them the basic rules and then play on.
How many of you have been a high school captain? How much time did you actually spend listening to what they said? How much of that did you actually go and tell anyone else after you left that circle? Exactly. So this versus the black line, this is an orange ball. I hope it goes in the hoop. I'm your best friend tonight. We're going to work really hard for you. Get rid of all that stuff. Keep it as short and professional as possible. Debbie says don't crack jokes. I agree. I'm not funny. I'm not going to try to be funny, and you're going to probably offend somebody at some point anyway. So keep it short and professional. Let them start earning your respect right there.
What up? Go ahead. What else?
What about this?
Right side, see the game that you're playing, you're not following.
And we've talked about that before, making sure that depending on the level, you're check. Again, it's things that you can take care of before the game to make sure you start off on the right foot. What else? What are some other things that we're looking for? Okay, you have a broken net or a backboard there, or a rim that's about to fall off really loose. Again, stuff like that happens.
Or you see the net get stuck as they're doing pregame shots, that you may have to slow your game down because of that, which really is awful, but you need to be aware that, you know, that it's going to get stuck up there and it could affect the flow of the game.
What else facility-wise? What haven't we? Yeah, clock. Why is that important?
Make sure it's working properly.
Okay.
Counting down instead of up. Scores, it's registering with the scoreboard.
Okay. The location of it. I mean, if you go into a gym, there's one clock and it's against the wall right here. You know, in high school, we say the trail or the trailer or the center opposite table has clock. Well, do we need to pregame that and change something up to make sure that we're going to have a better game? If you work in a college game, do you have a 35-second shot clock? Do you have a 30-second shot clock? Making sure that's set correctly.
Do you have an arrow at the table? If you ever had a game without an arrow there and you had your first jump ball, you're on an island at that point because you're looking at nothing. So make sure that's taken care of.
30 seconds left. Anything else that you... Yeah, that's a big one. Go over to the table, introduce yourselves. Again, depending on who's working the table, if you have a shot clock person, they might be a baseball player that has no idea what's going on.
Keep picking on the baseball.
Because it happens to be baseball players everywhere I go. So making sure that they're on the same team and letting them know that, kind of introducing yourself and getting all those kind of things taken care of. Awesome.
Okay, welcome back. Good to see you guys. Is it on? Okay, good. So we're going to talk about what to do with evaluations. And we'll finish up with what time we have left talking about jump balls. Okay? So let me ask you a question. You guys ever put a destination in your phone? You got to figure out where to go. You need to go to the football stadium, for instance, for last night's dinner. Have no idea how to get there. If you're going to use your phone, what do you have to have? You have to have GPS for sure, but what's the required information? You got to have an address of what? Of the football stadium, right? But if you just put that in, is that all you need to get there? Unless you're Magellan, right? What else do you need?
A way to get there.
Well, that's what you're going to get, but you got to put in two pieces of information. Where you're at, you need a starting point. And so I want you guys to picture yourselves in these experiences that you have as starting points. That's what we're after here, okay? So if you referee, if you have the mentality when I step on the court that I need to prove that I'm perfect, that I'm ready, that the best has arrived, I don't even know why they're having a tournament anymore after this, right? I'm your guy. If that's the way you're going to referee the game, you're going to struggle because we're not after that. We're after finding out where you are, and then you may happen to be there. It's probably not likely, right? But you may happen to be there. But if you referee for us, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You need to referee to give us the opportunity to see where you are. Because all we're concerned about is helping you take if not just one, but hopefully a lot of steps towards your end game. Whatever your goal is, NBA, NCAA, high school, being the best intramural referee you can be, right? Something that is not even connected with officiating at all. We're trying to help you guys get where you want to go. So referee the game with the mentality that this is just a starting point. It's okay to make a mistake. We'll talk about why it happened and try to make our adjustments so that it doesn't happen again. Does that make sense? Another little jewel of wisdom, if you will, okay, is an inverted triangle. So a lot of times, if we're being honest with ourselves, we look at ourselves, we look at the crew, and we worry about the game at the end. What we need to do is turn that triangle over. It needs to be inverted. We need to act like the game is what matters most. That's what the players are here for. That's how the tournament is structured. Now, you got folks here like us who are here to support you. This is about the game first. And if you make decisions with the game in mind first, you're going to be okay. After that, you worry about what's in the best interest of the crew. Okay? Is it in the best interest of the crew for us to miss an obvious out-of-bounds call? You can also tie that into the game. If it isn't, then I can go have a conversation that's honest and help us move forward. Is it going to benefit me? Then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And then after you worry about those two things, then you can look at yourself. And the beautiful thing about that is that when you referee with your triangle like this, when it comes time for people who are trying to pay attention and notice you, they see this. Does that make sense? Okay, great.
All right, so the goal for the weekend is to help everybody get better. With that said, a little disclaimer for evaluations. Keep in mind, like Debbie Williamson just said, keep everything in perspective. We're all coming from different backgrounds. We're working at different levels, calling different games, using different rules and mechanics. And so if something doesn't sound quite right to you, or if it's not the way that you do it, still accept that feedback and understand that you can try it out, see how it works for your game. You may not keep it ultimately, but you can at least test it and see if it makes you a better official. If it does, great. If not, that's fine. You can scrap it. You don't have to keep everything that's said. As Tate would say, the first mechanic of evaluations is a head nod and an okay or an I gotcha. It's all about communication. We've talked about it all morning, and we just want to give you some feedback that will hopefully make you a better official, get you to where you want to be. But in order to do that, we have to meet halfway, and we got to know that the message is received. If it's not received, ask a question. We're totally okay with that. If you still don't have the answer that you're looking for, or want to get a little bit deeper in a rule or a play or how to handle a situation, pull someone aside at lunch or at the end of the evening, ask a question, get in a one-on-one conversation, build some relationships and talk to some people, and that's all going to take just the feedback that you're getting and make it that much more important and valuable for you. And then try and apply it. So that's the third step of evaluations. Figure out what works for you and apply it. And I'm going to turn it over to Bonnie for that part.
Gracias.
Yep. I believe you got it.
Well, thanks. So I don't want to mess with it. All right, so we have all this information. We got done with our evaluation. What do we do now, right? So we have the information. I think we go back to our GPS scenario. When I put in Google Maps, it says I can avoid the highway, I can avoid the tollway, I can even avoid the ferries along my path. So I have all this information. I'm going to put them all in my pocket. And I'm going to pull out when it's appropriate for me to work on this specific piece of my game, right? So if we have a high impact, high up and down the floor game where I don't feel like I have time to be able to think about a particular mechanic or a particular position on the floor, I'm probably going to avoid that option, right, into my GPS, because I can't do that and do my best job on this game right now. So you're going to take the information that you receive, put it in your order of importance, and then work it into your game as you can. So when we have blowouts, we can work on a lot of things in those games, right? Because the game is not demanding as much out of us as a tie ball game with 3 seconds left. That is not the time to figure out if you can use your left hand to call a foul with, okay? Probably not the most appropriate time. Also, there's things that come out of evaluations. There's all the things that we can work on and the things that we do well. Let's not forget those. And then we have how it was provided to you, that information was taken. And then also how it made you feel, right? Did it make me feel better about my game? Did it make me feel inspired? Did it make me feel like crap, right? So you're gonna take those things, the way it made you feel. We thought about it, we maybe wrote it down, we're done with it, let's get rid of it.
the way it was delivered. You liked it, you didn't like it. We're going to get rid of it. All the things that we did well and we can do better. We're going to keep that, and that's what's in our pocket of resources of what we're going to work on in the future. So when you're leaving here, your whole package, where you're starting from, positive intent, listening, the okay mechanic, let us know that you understand it, or the I have a question mechanic because I didn't understand whatever you just said to me. And then finally, our own process at the end to understand and interpret what we're going to do next on our GPS routes.
Oh, yes. Alrighty then. So, we have to start a game. Here's a trick question. How do you start a game with the jump ball? So, we're in a circle of trust. Ignore the camera, okay? Can't see you. Hopefully it's focused on me because I'm beautiful. So, how many of you guys are a little bit iffy on how we begin games with three-person mechanics that are going to be asked to do it? They're working three-person mechanics. You know where you're supposed to go if you're one of the outside referees? You know if you're the referee? Everybody's good? Okay, so we don't have to spend much time on it. We're going to touch on the tenets really quickly of what you need to be responsible and aware of. If you're tossing the ball, please make sure you got time on the clock, right amount of players, that your partners are ready, so on and so forth. That's just a simple glance around that'll help you guys start off on a good foot. You want to always be building on the credibility you started with, not digging yourself out of a hole you unnecessarily created, okay? You're going to hit your whistle, make sure it's out of your mouth. I'm pretty sure you like your teeth. The only way to keep those things is to keep that whistle out because you never have any, you don't have an idea what these players are going to do when they're trying to get that jump ball. You may have some 6'11s, you may have some 5'4s. I have no idea. But either way, you want to make sure you protect yourself. Does that make sense? So your toss needs to be around 10 feet. If they can get up, you probably want to go up a little bit higher, or whatever, to the degree that you know that. If they're shorter, you certainly don't want to go up 12 or 14 feet. Does that make sense? So you want a nice, good toss straight up. If you're doing it one hand or two hand, make sure that it's, relatively speaking, straight up and down, and the player's got a shot at it. If you're the U1, you're responsible for the chopping of the clock and the two jumpers. Technically, everybody's responsible for them, so make sure nothing stupid happens. Does that make sense? But if you're the U1, focus in on that and make sure that you chop the clock on the legal touch. If you're the U2, make sure you know what the 8 non-jumpers are doing, okay? Start the game off on a good foot. Any questions? Great.